What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this I want to break down what's going on with the overall markets. Let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you guaranteed 20 free stocks. And the offer ends very soon in just about 3 days from now. Anyways, for the market, I want to talk about some very, very important updates and technicals. Just remember, guys, that we just have a couple of Fed speakers. We have Mester, who is giving a speech, not to mention Kugler, Collins, and a few more. And then with that being said, there's not really a whole lot else going on for today. But tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, June 19th, also known as Juneteenth. The stock market is going to be closed for a holiday, so we won't have trading for Wednesday. So we won't be back until like Thursday for us to actually see the market reopen, at least for many of these ETFs that I'm referring to. But anyways, now let's just talk about what's happening with the market moving forward. So looking at the way the market's looking, we have Tesla right over here. We actually dipped quite a bit off their Chinese sales data, not looking too good. Chinese sales showed a bit of a decline for Tesla week over week. Also, quarter over quarter, they're actually up just a bit, but year over year, things are still kind of down. And because of this little decrease week over week, Tesla has some fear that's building because they have their deliveries report coming out very soon. So that's why Tesla dipped down to 183, only to rebound towards our 20 EMA around this 185 resistance, only to come back. And we're kind of shuffling up here, so we'll have to give this a bit more time. But overall, Tesla is still holding up very well, at least compared to other days. So I'll be watching 185 as resistance, and we have support currently around 183. I think Tesla will continue to kind of shuffle between these areas for the rest of the day, not really do too much, but just know that when we zoom out, okay, when you zoom out all the way, Tesla is still bullish on the 4-hour time frame. There's still a lot of upside potential for it. As long as we hold some key supports, I think Tesla has a lot of upside potential because we have a nice inverse head and shoulders, and also because we are uptrending at least for the medium term. So could we dip for the short term? Sure, but for the medium term, we still look very, very bullish. Now, how about SPY? SPY is still on a very, very strong uptrend. However, I just want to call out that as we pump more, it becomes riskier and riskier because we're approaching some very, very critical levels. Let me just break down what these levels are. I'm going to pull up the 5-minute time frame just to show you. So as SPY continues to pump, we're getting closer and closer to that 550 area, and we also have resistance around 548.5. So far, we're seeing a nice accumulation here. It does look like it wants to go a little higher, but I'd be very careful because we're still range bound, technically speaking. If we end up losing 547, we could be looking for a dip all the way down to 546 and then even potentially lower levels. If we break past 548.5, we could be pushing higher. So we'll just have to give this some time just to see how things end up going. But for now, we're just range bound. We're just going back and forth on SPY, not really doing much. We have to wait and see which way we break. If we end up breaking past 548.5, yes, we could be pushing higher. If we end up losing 547, we'll be looking for a bigger dip once this 200 EMA breaks. Otherwise, we're just range bound on SPY. We're just waiting. We're being very patient. Like I said in my previous videos, we're like snipers. We're waiting for that opportunity to pounce, to make our shots, and to give it the time it needs. For the QQQ, it's the same thing. It's just range bound. We have resistance around this 486 area. If we break through this, we could push a lot higher. We have support currently around 484. We actually temporarily dipped below this only to get bought back up. So we're still seeing some buyers defend it. If we lose 484 and close below this, I'll be looking for a bigger dip. Otherwise, we're just range bound. We're just going back and forth and back and forth. So we'll just have to give this the time it needs. For Aapl, Aapl has resistance around this 214 area. If we break through this, I'll be looking for 216. If we lose support at 212.5, we'll be dipping all the way down towards basically 210. Overall, Aapl is showing a little bit of weakness because if you look at the structure, it's looking very symmetrical, like we got a double top, and we are coming down on a bit of a downtrend. So there is a good chance that Aapl will kind of pop a bit and start dipping closer to 212 and maybe even lower levels all over again. But this depends on a lot of different factors if we end up getting a little rebound or not. So for the short term, it could try to rebound a bit, but there is a risk of it for the medium term coming back down. So we watch to see a move just like that. Look for a push towards 215, maybe a move back down later towards these lower levels that I'm talking about. So I'll be watching for that very carefully on Apple stock. Nvidia is building some strength. It's actually trying to push higher. But like I said before, zoom out of the chart and you'll see it's still range bound. It's still stuck within these areas right now. So I wanted to call out that Nvidia is actually showing some strength. It managed to actually break out of this resistance around 134.5. It pushed quite a bit because we had some bullish news that came out. Nvidia is going to be included in another ETF, and it's going to have a bigger weight. And other pieces of news came out involving AI. So yes, we got a very, very nice push. Nvidia is back to the 136s, but now we have that as our resistance area, and we have support currently at 135. So it likes to push up, kind of stair step, then start trading sideways as it's fighting the next resistance level. So now Nvidia is building strength thanks to bullish news, but it's kind of trading sideways. So I'll give it some time. Watch and see. If we lose 135, I'll be looking for 134.5 coming next. And then for resistance, we have 136. We're kind of stuck between this area. I do think Nvidia might come back down to 135, just continue to shuffle for some time, but that's all it's been doing all day. So we just have to give it more time. Bitcoin, it's been dipping quite a bit. We're currently around the 64,000s. We're just trading sideways. We have 64,000 support, 65,000 resistance, back and forth all day. That's all Bitcoin is likely going to do. So there's not much else going on for now. But the trend on Bitcoin is still bearish. Just note that. Supermicro's on a bit of an uptrend. Watch support around 920. If we lose that, we could be dipping back down to the lower to 912, then 900. And we have resistance all the way up towards 932, then eventually 940. So I do see a risk of this actually trying to uptrend a bit to maybe dipping lower. But overall, watch it try to push a little higher. It could go a little higher before it makes a U-turn. I still see more potential for it to go higher beforehand. So I'll be watching for that as well. For Coinbase, we're showing some weakness. We're on a bit of a downtrend. You guys can see this on the 5-minute time frame. We kind of failed to reclaim 240. We got to get back above 240 to turn bullish. Since we're holding below this, there's a sign it's going to likely decline a bit. That's what I've been saying, and that's what's been happening. Watch 236 is critical support. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 232. So I'm seeing some weakness. For Amazon's also showing some weakness. We're kind of stuck within this range. If we break past 184, we're going to be looking for a bigger push. If we end up losing basically this support over here around 181.5, we'll be looking for a move all the way down towards 180. So I'm seeing a little bit of weakness as well on Amazon. We're still range bound, but we're just trading sideways, going back and forth and back and forth. So we'll just have to see what Amazon does. But if we don't reclaim 184, we're still looking bearish overall. That's the most important thing. So short term, we're just trading sideways. Medium term is more bearish, looking for Amazon, by the way. There's going to be a risk of 180 coming. Unless we reclaim 184, we're still favoring the downside a bit more. Meta is also looking a little bit weaker. We actually lost this support at 505. We ended up bouncing off 490, very close to 494. We came back up to 500 as resistance. If that breaks, I'll be looking at 502. Otherwise, we're just kind of stuck. So I'm seeing a little bit of weakness in Meta. So we'll have to give that some time. Microsoft is also kind of slowing down a bit. I'm seeing a bit of a downtrend right here. We have a double top like structure. We got to try to break past the 50 EMA and 200 EMA at 447.5 to turn bullish. Otherwise, we could dip all the way back down to 444. So I'll be watching for that. GameStop is just trading sideways, looking a little bit weak right now. There is going to be a risk of this dipping all the way down to about 24 or 22. So I'm seeing a weakness on that. Same thing with AMC. We're seeing some weakness. We could be dipping all the way down to about 4.7. So I'll give that some time. So I'm seeing some weakness in the memes, some sideways price action, not a whole lot else that's going on. SPY is still range bound, so we'll have to give that some time. And Tesla's, Tesla's still testing 185, so we'll give it some time as well. So that's what I'm seeing for the markets, guys. As a reminder, for the equities market and for many other individual stocks and ETFs out there, the market's going to be closed for New York Stock Exchange and the others. Some futures markets will be open, but for the most part, the market will be closed. So I'll see you guys very, very soon for another update in a few hours. Until then, take care. Enjoy the holiday that's coming up, and I'll see you guys in a few hours again. Thank you and peace out.